Are we ready for the next one? Yeah? Okay. Let's take a look at the video for Damien Sanchez from DC Mosquito Squad.
My name is Damien Sanchez. I own DC Mosquito Squad in the greater DC area. We're a public health pest control company, and we specialize in the elimination of ticks and mosquitoes primarily. I've been a fireman for 18 years. I was in every state on fires. I was gone for months at a time. And so it was very challenging at looking to start a family. We also wanted my wife to be able to invest in our children. When it came down to it, I needed to look at either getting a job with somebody else on my days off or start a business. Some reason I thought starting a business would be less work. The biggest problems that Infusionsoft solved for us really has to do with automation and task management, being able to break all of our systems down into tasks that are automated so nobody has to remember. We've utilized upsells, we utilize tasks, and we utilize follow-up sequences, and we automate some of our HR tasks. There's really no end. We're constantly innovating in that regard and utilizing Infusionsoft as the tool to fix whatever problem that we have. Since we implemented Infusionsoft, in the first year we saw a 70% growth rate, and each year we've seen continued growth. The year we started, we had 1 employee, and I was everything. We've grown tremendously. We expand up to around 50 employees during the summer. We've also seen a 400% increase in the number of customers that we have. And Infusionsoft has played a huge role in being able to deal with that kind of growth, which has been a challenge. Yeah, I love Infusionsoft's purpose. They help small businesses succeed. What does success mean to me? Really, some basic things. Providing for my family, being able to enjoy going to work, creating an environment where everyone on my team can enjoy and have fun at work. Those would be the main things that I would say drive success. The reward has come because it's given us greater flexibility so that I can help Michelle with our children and invest in our family. And so it's been a good experience.
Another inspiring story. Please welcome to the stage Damien Sanchez.
Thank you. Well, it certainly is a pleasure to be here and to be included in this group of people. I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm being very reserved right now because the butterflies are so tight. But, I just want to jump in and take the next 15 minutes just to tell you a little bit about where I came from, the business that we run, and talk a little bit about Infusionsoft and what it's meant for me and the people that are around me. So, I was born and raised in Southern California. I went to high school in Pasadena, and all through high school, I wanted to be a fireman. And so I put my mind to it. At 19, I got a job with the U.S. Forest Service, and I was a wildland firefighter. I served there for 9 years. I have been on fires all over the country, and it was an amazing experience. The downside was I would be gone on a moment's notice for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, and for the most part, I was gone about 2 to 4 months per year. So my wife and I decided we needed a change. And so we moved to Northern Virginia, where I got a job with Fairfax County Fire, and I have served there for the past 9 years. I'm still a fireman there, and it's been an amazing place to work. I work 56 hours a week. I have 24-hour shifts, which really gives me the ability to own a side business. So one of the things we realized when my wife and I got here, she got pregnant right away, and so we had to decide, all right, we need 2 incomes. We live in one of the most expensive counties in the country, and we really need 2 incomes. So either she continues to work or I get a second job. So we decided it was more important for her to invest in our family, and I continued to get a second job, which then turned into actually starting a business. So prior to starting the business, I really didn't have any formal training, but I did have some, I guess, foundational experiences and training that I really got from my dad. My dad, the thing he always told me, he'd say, he's like, if I teach you one thing in this life, it's going to be how to work hard. He said it a little bit more with motivation than that, but that's the nice way of saying it. And he did. He taught me how to work hard. You probably won't hear people talk about their high school days from a stage like this, but one of the things that I carried with me, I didn't go to college, but I had very good teachers in high school, and they really taught me how to enjoy learning. And so I've never stopped learning. It's just I didn't learn in the traditional way. The other foundational thing before starting the business that I carried with me was really from my Forest Service time. I really learned leadership skills on the fire line and how to lead men. And that's a huge thing that I've taken with me into business. So let me tell you a little bit about the company that we have. It's called DC Mosquito Squad. We're a public health pest control company. We specialize in the eradication of mosquitoes and ticks, and we're located in the DC metro area. So we service Virginia, Maryland, and DC. This year, we will go up to about 45 to 50 employees during our peak season. And again, this business is it's unique because it's seasonal, but we have to scale up dramatically and then scale back down as the season comes to a close. We're also one of the largest location in the country. So I already I forgot to mention I did mention this, but one of the reasons why I needed to start a business was to support my family. But I also wanted something that really kept with why I was with the fire department. I love helping others. And the business also provides an avenue for that because we have employees and we have customers and all of them need our attention. And I love that. But I also wanted to be a good steward. I mentioned we moved from California to Virginia. Well, providentially, we sold our house at the absolute top of the housing market. So I had resources that I needed to be a good steward with, and I wanted to be wise with it. So putting it into the business and putting hard work into it made perfect sense. And I was able to combine the two. Actually, that's my first house. So some of the things that have come with the business would be, well, let me back up. One of the things, if somebody had told me how much work was really involved in starting a business, I probably would have been discouraged to even think about starting one. But thankfully, nobody told me that, and so I did what my dad said, and I worked really, really hard. And that's how we built the business. But some of the flexibility that's come with that is I'm able to do things. So I can relive my Forest Service days and do timber stand improvement projects on my property and do pile burns, but also spend time with the family. So the business has provided also a level of security that I wouldn't otherwise have, in the sense that you're not limited by what you can make. And then there's the opposite end of that, is that there's no guarantee of what you're going to make. But you decide. So I've really enjoyed that about the business. So one of the things that I've also learned about the business is when work doesn't feel like work, and you love doing it, it makes it fun. And that's one of our core values, is that work should be fun. And so I've just really enjoyed being able to provide for my family and love what I'm doing, both with the fire department and with the business. So let me tell you a little bit about what life was like in the business before Infusionsoft. As I told you before, I worked 56 hours a week with the fire department. I built a business that required me to be a full-time worker at my business as well. So I had 2 full-time jobs. And actually, here's a picture of my first office. It was called the foyer. The front door is right behind me. And I just had a little desk there, and that's where I started. The CRM that I had, you see my son is kind of carrying it. It's that little black box. That's where we put all of our customer information. And as the business grew, the black boxes grew with it. And next thing you know, we had file cabinets everywhere full of customer information. And what ended up happening is we created so much work that we couldn't keep up. We couldn't hire enough people to do the work that we were creating. So accountability became non-existent within the staff. We had zero consistency. We had to spend a ton in labor just to tread water. And I remember being so angry that things weren't being done because I was focused on the field and getting all the jobs done, and then the office was falling apart. And my anger was misplaced. What I realized later is that I created a system that was destined to make my employees fail. They would always lose customers, and they would always lose leads because of the system I had in place. And this is the place where I started when I found Infusionsoft. So when we built out Infusionsoft, we really were building it with trying to come up with the answers to our problems. We're a renewal business. We sell seasonal contracts, and it takes a lot of time to renew thousands of people. And we rely on seasonal labor. How do we make it easier so we're not using all this labor? So one of the things I saw was Infusionsoft had a shopping cart. So I needed a CRM, and it had a shopping cart. And I'm like, well, what if we just productized our service? And so let's just make an icon for everything that we do, and we'll put it on there, and we'll just use tags and follow-up sequences to email the right portion of the shopping cart to our customers so that they could just renew themselves. And then all the tasks that get done behind the scene are automatically populated. We created accountability all of a sudden, and we reduced the amount of labor we needed. And so it was like an amazing thing that we started managing our entire operation through Infusionsoft. And we used campaigns and completion scenarios and other things. But the big thing for us was that we started using Infusionsoft to manage our business, not just a sales and marketing tool. And the key to that was web forms. So we used internal web forms because we needed to take somebody that we just hired making $10 to $12 an hour and plug them into our system so that they could contribute immediately to the workload. And so by creating a web form that would, for any question that a customer would have with all of the appropriate tasks that need to be done behind that, we created a system wherefore we could manage our entire operation. So we eradicate mosquitoes and ticks. So it's a very simple business model. So our Infusionsoft is not terribly elaborate. You know, we have 4 categories. We've got opportunities, nurture, long-term, and renewal. Now, since we have a very narrow offering, it just makes it very simple for us. So we really want to send out emails to customers that are simple. I just wanted to say like, hey, you know, we're going to be coming out. I want it to look like we just wrote it and the customer is getting this personalized message, which in reality they are getting a personalized message because we could never deliver that kind of service without having the automation that Infusionsoft gives us. So, and that's really kind of how we utilized Infusionsoft. So now just real briefly, here's just a quick graph of some of the things that were unexpected once we introduced this new system to renew our customers. What we found was now 7% of our gross sales are a result of upsells. And again, we don't have a professional sales force because we're using seasonal labor. So by introducing the shopping cart, all of a sudden we're getting all these sales that we didn't do anything for. Customers are just adding stuff to their shopping cart. So it was absolutely amazing. Then we noticed that our ratio between renewals and new sales was changing. So now all of a sudden we're at 70% of our gross sales are renewals versus only 23% being new sales. And we expect that number to grow, our renewal number. So this is another thing, you know, because we built our app from the ground up, tailored for us. And, you know, I would encourage everybody to look at this because if you look at one $10 an hour employee, and this is kind of the comparison of our cost of building out our app. One $10 an hour employee costs 68 grand. All right, that's a lot of money. It's a 3-year, or for 3 years, it costs $68,000. for over the 3-year period that we were building out Infusionsoft, and we're continuing to, but it cost us about $58,000. So it's big numbers, but when you look at the ROI, we could have hired 10 $10-hour employees year-round and not produced this kind of ROI. We had a 530% increase in our sales based on the base year of being the pre-Infusionsoft. So it really was amazing. So I would certainly encourage all of you, it's like sometimes you don't have time to do something, but if you hired somebody to do some of those things, you could invest the time that's needed to do the build out, and you can really manage your operation through Infusionsoft. So another neat metric that we had, average ticket receipt. It increased 12%. So now we're at 12% more per customer than we were pre-Infusionsoft. You know, our gross sales are up, our total customer numbers are up. Another very neat thing, and again, this is a testament to using Infusionsoft as a business management platform, not just a sales and marketing tool, but our customer numbers are up, our fleet is growing, and our employees are decreasing. So we're able to service more customers with fewer employees, and we're going to continue building out the system to use less labor, which affects your bottom line. So now to like the most important part of like why we're here. So how has Infusionsoft impacted me and those around me? Before Infusionsoft, I had 2 full-time jobs. I worked a ton for a number of years, and it was exhausting. Now I spend about 10 to 20 hours a week on the business, which gives me time to focus on my family and personal development and other businesses. It also allows me, building Infusionsoft out as a management system, it allows me to leave. I can come here, I can leave for 2 weeks, and I don't have those butterflies wondering what's going on at the office. We've created the systems and the tools for people to be effective without me. And ultimately, it gives me time to invest in relationships, which is one of the reasons why we're here. So one last thing, you know, the biggest impact that's going to happen this year is because of the work that we've done in Infusionsoft and the results that we've got, I'm going to be retiring from the fire department. So my paperwork's going in as soon as I get back from Arizona. And that's going to be a huge change. Yeah, thank you. I know, 18 years on the job, and it's going to be, it's hard for me to think about. I might cry thinking about it. So lastly, the question is, so why should you vote for us? Our team, we use Infusionsoft as a business management tool, not just a sales and marketing system. We've added scalability to our business. Remember, we're a seasonal business, so we have to expand rapidly and we have to contract rapidly. And we need to be able to plug people in place. So we have scalability. The last thing, we've built our own app. We've built it from the ground up to be tailored specifically to our needs. And I'm retiring from the fire department, so so vote for us. I appreciate your time. Thanks for listening.